since I laid my eyes on you, my baby. I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know.
Welcome to A Goddess Life. You are a goddess, and this is your life. Let's dive in to this week's episode. Hello, beautiful souls and beautiful goddesses. Welcome in for this week's episode of A Goddess Life, where we are embodying all aspects of the goddess, the cosmic goddess, the witch goddess, the healer goddess, all of the different types of goddesses that we all have within us. And the day that we're recording this is actually the day that Mars moved into Virgo. And I'm pretty sure that Mars is going to be in Virgo for a couple months. I think it's till the end of August, but I could be wrong. So check out the astrology charts. But this is a powerful energy, and it's playing out big time. Anna, how are you feeling, Mars in Virgo? I know I feel it, but I'm curious to know.
I do believe I'm feeling it. I am a Virgo sun, and I have I have started feeling like I am a procrastinator in my blood. I have always been that. If I can push anything until deadline, I will do it. But today, I found myself doing things that I have been sort of had in the back of my mind, but never set a deadline to, or never thought that I would do it like today, more in a couple of months. And things went so smoothly. It went so fast. I felt so effective. So I've been doing more, and then a tiny bit more, and then more. So I'm really interested to see how this will go on for the next couple of weeks and months.
Wow. I feel like you just said it all in a nutshell. Like that whole procrastinator thing. Here's why I say that, Anna, because think about it. Mars is our action, it's our masculine energy. It is fire, and it's moved into Virgo. And what's Virgo? It's the humanitarian, it's the organizer, it's what's the structure or the to do list for the day. And can we check it off? Can we check off those things on the to do list? Mars shifting into Virgo is almost like gives it steam behind it. I'm not an astrologist, but I'm just going to roll with the Mars fiery energy. And I want to talk about the procrastination because I feel like, holy crap, let's just unpack that box right there because I feel like procrastination has many names and many faces. And we procrastinate for a number of different reasons, but there's always an energy attached to it. Procrastination sometimes is self-sabotage. Sometimes feel that we're procrastinating, but we're actually being protected. That's another thing from things we don't see or don't foresee. So that actually plays out too. I also feel like sometimes procrastination is actually connected to other energies that are connected to us. So, for example, if we want to go one way, but we're procrastinating on it, and all the people around us don't want us to go that way, and notice it's pro. Pro is at the beginning of the word procrastinating. Mars in Virgo puts that shit to the side and says, we're doing it. And I feel like what you also said, Anna, just to like illuminate, I know you were speaking about the energy and how it felt, but the visual on that was almost like, holy shit, here's my to-do list. And I can do bit by bit by bit. And there's no blockages and there's no friction and there's no procrastination. And I just move and I move and I move and I move forwards. And they're saying cosmically, something has been removed, something has been shifted out of the way for us. Everybody's going to feel it intensely, Mars and Virgo, because everybody's got Virgo somewhere in their chart or some planetary alignment. Like Virgo is its own place. A sun in Virgo, if you got Virgo predominantly in your chart, sun, moon, or rising, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel this. I feel like it's important that you pointed out that you have procrastination in your blood. I don't think you have procrastination in your blood, sister. I actually think that you've been holding down. This is not a judgment. I'm just rolling with what's coming through because I know it's for me too. Me too. 100%, 1,000%, 10,000%, says Isis. Sometimes we procrastinate because the thing that we're going to do or the place that we're going to go or the thing that brings us dreams, there's too much other stuff attached to it weighing us down. And it's almost like Mars and Virgo is like, nope, we can go one thing at a time. Get out your to-do list. We're going to go check, check, check. And you're going to feel the fire, the divine fire to be able to allow you to do it. So back in February, just like looking at the astrology charts here, Mars was retrograde from December the 6th to February, mid-February, I want to say later, closer to the latter end of February. So in February, after that happened, when Mars came out of retrograde and went direct, I had this random vision and it was so clear and it was so visceral and it was so powerful. I'm just going to go all in here and tell you the vision that I had. I was standing on Saturn, and Saturn, all the rings were kind of bursting apart. And all of a sudden, the little planet of Mars showed up, this fiery red Mars. And somebody else was standing on my Mars, and it was a witch king. That's the word that came to me intuitively, a witch king. But I knew that the witch king didn't belong. He was standing on my Mars. I was like, why can't I take action toward this thing that I know I'm supposed to go to, that I know I want to do? And that's when I had this vision. It was like a sudden revelation. There's somebody else's masculine witch king is masculine energy that was standing on top of my Mars energy. And in the moment I identified it and looked at it and said, you do not belong here. This is my planet. This is my Mars. This is my energy. I watched them literally fall off the side of the planet into the cosmic vast void. And it was like I brought Mars into me to hold it, to embrace it, to bring it back into my ability to take action. Because procrastination is the inability to utilize your masculine energy to take action. And girl, that's been me my whole life too. Like sometimes I'm so grateful for things I procrastinated on or walked away from or stopped doing because, man, was that ever a protection? And I didn't know it till a year later, 2 years later. But when I saw it, the absolute gratitude. So I have trust in this, but I also have trust because the moment that I saw that epiphany, your Mars is so important, but Mars can bulldoze. And we don't want to be a bull in a china shop, right? So I feel like we've gone through this weeding and seeding process. We want you to take actions towards that which fulfills you. The cosmic alignments and shifts are aligning so that the push of the fiery Mars entering into Virgo gives you the stamina, the strength, the willpower, the self accountability and responsibility, and the energetic alignments to go step by step, moving forward, knowing that the fire of creation is aiding you at this time. The energy will feel different because it is different. And many of you have been gone through processes of purging, sifting, and releasing anything to do with that whole idea of the Mars. Ooh, Anna, I've got something that they want to talk about the Witch King. Do we want to talk about this?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know about you, but like I have memories. I used to have this dream when I was a little girl about not being burned at the stake, but being tortured on a whole other level. And I distinctly remember it in detail. It was a dream on repeat when I was a little girl. And I was leading a group of people and I was sacrificing me into being tortured. Like when I'm not even going to tell you what it was. It was the most terrifying, horrific dream. Oh, and it just kept happening. I didn't really understand it. And at the time, I knew in the dream that I was forfeiting me in order to have but all the other people who were following me. It was like I was leading all the other people who were following me who did that. It was like they told me, if you do this and sacrifice you, then all of them will be free. And if you say that you're the devil and you did wrong things, then they can all go free. And in the dream, I was like, okay, I'm just going to say this. I know it's not the truth, but I have to say it because it's the only way that I can save all those people over there from this happening to them. And of course, that ended up being a lie, and the torture and all those things that went on. Like I could recount it detail in detail, all of the old archaic methods, all of it in detail. And that always has weighed on me until this end of this February when I had this vision. I felt like that got lifted. I felt like I didn't have to be afraid because, of course, all those people were all killed and all tortured as well, despite the fact that I did this and only gave them fuel. So I guess my wish or my hope or whatever it was misplaced at the time. But those past life memories that are in my conscious awareness and my imprint affected my ability to want to lead. It affected my ability to express my truth. It affected my ability to take action. And the Witch King represents the wounds of the witches of past, present, and future, all being redeemed and released. After all, the witch is the wisdom that builds the kingdom. And when the Witch King steps in to annihilate the kingdom, this is where the wounds originate. This is why so many do not take action where they need to. You could place it in any label, you could place it in any psychological paradigm. There are many different paths and grooves of it. Each is done for different reasons, and some are known and some are not known. Mars has shifted into Virgo, giving everyone the ability to fulfill their dreams. After all, what is the point of a macro cosmic alignment if it is not to fuel, to nudge, to lift, and to raise each and every one of you to build the life of your dreams, to create what you want to create without the baggage and the wounds of the consciousness, of the worries of others, the projections of others, even what others perceive you should or shouldn't be doing. Mars is the energy that moves into the vessels, that allows you to take what you want to take, to do what you want to do. And Virgo is its perfect placement in this moment, for Virgo knows how to get the job done. Virgo knows how to create lists and organize. Virgo knows how to ensure that every single piece is looked after, everything is checked off. Those who are of the procrastinators now become the dominators. Whoa, I needed to hear that. I needed to understand that.
That was so good. I'm so happy for the times to come if I'm finally somewhat free of the procrastination.
Amazing, isn't it?
So good, so good.
It does. It feels good. I feel that too. I feel that fire. There's so much fire energy happening right now with Jupiter in Cancer in its exalted form of expansion. And then we've got Mars bringing that fire into that organizational structure schedule. Plus, I feel like Virgo's a humanitarian. They want to help. Isn't that the perfect energy to give a fiery nudge to? The energy that speaks to where we want to be of service to others and to help others, but also have the grounded structure and schedule. It's such a beautiful alignment. Like all these shifts that are happening are such beautiful alignments, and one leans into the other. It's like the perfect divine direction on it. And they're saying this will help to pour light into the places where people have been in shadow a lot. Because before we came to this place, so much shadow had to be traversed. I don't know if you needed to hear that thing about the witch wound, but I kid you not, I was on a live call with a well-known healer and intuitive. I have such a deep respect for her and her journey and the path that the steps that she's laid for the rest of us for this time period through her own journey. But she mentioned in the call a documentary called The Burning Times. And as soon as she said it, I was like my whole energy beamed towards it. I go and I watch this documentary, my jaw was on the floor. The exact torture mechanism, the words they had you say is exactly my dream, image for image, word for word. And all of a sudden I understood, 30 years later, after I've been a kid having this recurring nightmare, that shit actually happened in exact detail. The wording they were asked to say before they tortured them, how they tortured them, all of it was exactly the same as this reoccurring nightmare that I used to have as a little girl. What are the chances of that? I feel like this is so significant and so relevant because a lot of us carry these unconscious wounds or things we can't quite place. Like, why can't I do that? Why don't I like that person? Why am I afraid of that person? And I don't even have a reason why. There, of course, is always reasons behind all of it. Whether we're able to perceive the reason is a completely different story. And when we can't perceive the reason, we beat ourselves up. I could beat myself up 10 times over for the amount of procrastination that I have done, the amount of things that I've walked away from where I just felt like I needed to, but didn't know why. all of it was related to past life stuff. Some of it was protecting me from entering into an engagement contract with them in this life or ending it. But other things were literally the weights and chains of those lifetimes. Now I'm not afraid to lead others in the way that I'm leading them. And I wasn't really afraid before, but there was always like this voice like, what if somebody takes it the wrong way? What if somebody misperceives me? What if something bad happens to them because they didn't understand what I was really saying? Like there was all these fears and worries associated with it. And at the end of February, that's when I had that vision. I felt like that kind of fell away. And I felt like I didn't need to be responsible for others because it's no longer time for that. We're done. That is an era that has ended, and we are not re entering that era. In fact, we are freeing ourselves from the residue of all those eras. And Mars in Virgo, look out. Look out. I feel like it's important at this time. Like I know on the podcast, our viewers and listeners are going to be listening to this post Mars going into Virgo, but we're going to be in the midst of Mars in Virgo at the same time. It does feel good, Anna. I feel the same way. I felt like, because I'm a Virgo rising, right? I felt like there was this weight lifted. Like I didn't have this energy attached to me. I didn't have this thing in front of me. I didn't have this projection. I didn't have this fear of any outcomes. It was like, I can just go ahead and do it and be who I am. And it's going to be easy. And it is easy. And that's the beauty of it. So the cosmic alignments are aligning for an entirely new level of consciousness, which means we reveal, we discard, and we heal from old things in the past or the unconscious. And that's what allows Mars to really give us vigor. Vigor for Virgo. Vigor for Virgo. Ooh, I like it. Interesting. And that fire, I feel like, sometimes we use fire to burn things down. And other times we use fire just to keep us warm, right? Keep us going, just if I can just keep going through this period. And other times that fire is literally the thing that lights a fire under your ass, gives you the courage, gives you the power, gives you the willpower, gives you the strength, and gives the I don't give a fuck, let's do it. Sometimes that's the nurturing light of the fire that's being gifted to all of us right now. Girl, I feel it too.
Yeah. And also, yeah, for all of us who have a strong Virgo, I think also I want to say the wound about perfectionism
Mm-hmm.
is really strong, because you hear about Virgo being like full control, lists, everything. And I love lists. I will make a to-do list for everything. But I also think that having Mars coming into Virgo, you can have this fire sort of shining a light on that. I don't want to call it like a problem, but the wound of perfectionism, and Virgo will sort of give it space to heal. So you can
Mm-hmm.
start to say, what do you want to make? What do you want to devote your life to? How can you use this energy now that sort of perfectionism, it's not so big anymore? You don't have to fight trying to create something because you want it to be perfect, but you can try, and you can just start doing something.
Yeah, and it's so interesting you're saying that because Virgo is very analytical. It's logic and it's intellect as well, right? Like every zodiac sign has its own qualities and they're quite vast for each zodiac sign. I don't feel like the standard box always fits because we're all have different placements and it moves in different ways and goes to different ends. But that whole perfectionism and the Virgo energy needing to be perfect, you're right. Mars is like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just doing it. Here's the fire. Let's do it. I feel like the strength that Virgo has, like when I think about a Virgo energy that is not limited by its perfection, but rather embraces the imperfection, I feel that they have the capacity to create on another level because they also have the grit and grounded energy that's needed when they take a step forwards and it goes all crazy. What's Virgo's strength? When shit's crazy, you can bring it together. No, let's make a list. I'm going to delegate this. This needs to go here. This needs to go there. That's their strength. So it's almost like in the playground of Mars without the perfection and just going all in and allowing it to be a mess. That is actually a place where Virgo shines. I feel like, just to illuminate this, because they're so good at seeing all the things that need to get done, making sure they're actually in a position of power when it comes to things being in chaos in that aspect. I feel like that's such a beautiful energy of Virgo that I feel the need to illuminate right now, because for a lot of people, we just flounder in the chaos, right? We're like, whatever. But to take the one who knows the to-do list and to do all those things, when perfectionism exits the building, they're like in their strongest suit. What's that? There's chaos. Okay, let's put this here, that there. I feel like that's where we get to see them shine in their willingness to be flexible, that it doesn't have to be a certain way. It allows that aspect of the Virgo energy to really come in and aid in a way that is flowing with the energy and conducive to it. God bless Mars. God bless Mars. That's what I want to say to that right now. God bless Mars and Virgo, because the Witch King just got its ass kicked off the planet. We're done with the procrastination and we're just aligning with that new energy. Wow. I did not expect this conversation to go here. Witch wounds, Mars, Virgo. And listen, I'm not saying those things because you're a Virgo, like I'm biased, or that I have a rising Virgo because I'm biased. That's just a general, I'm hearing greater understanding of the zodiac signs for all of you. Every time a planet shifts into a different constellation or a zodiac sign, for example, back in February, Mars traveled in front of the Pleiades constellation. And what is Pleiades? It is the play, it is the joyfulness, it's the flow, it's that energy that we need, right? We need the Arcturian structure, but we also need the Pleiadian flow. Pleiadian play on words. There you go, right? They're making me just feel like all the planets that are shifting right now are causing us to see how certain zodiac signs are going to be able to shine because of their great gifts and skills as we enter this new phase where it's very unknown. Mars is no longer got somebody stopping it or standing on it. It's now this beautiful fiery ball that's intended to grow, help you grow. We have Jupiter in Cancer that's exalted. That is like primo energy. It's so exquisite. It's so powerful. It's so expansive. Anytime something isn't exalted, it is, you're going to another level, baby. You know it. How could you not? They're saying all these cosmic alignments, they affect everybody, whether people feel it or not. It's stirring in the unconscious. And those who do have the awareness, the sensitivities of energies, the ones who have been moving in the shadow, we just want to pour some light into this right now, because all of these cosmic shifts are moving in your favor. They're all there to push us towards, to nurture us, to lift us up, to remove the blockages of energy that maybe weren't conducive before. And they're saying, and sometimes the things you procrastinated against, if you had have done it then, it would not have worked out. But now that the energy is aligned, we can do it now, and we move full steam ahead, and everything is so aligned that it will thrive and blossom. Isn't it beautiful how the divine plan has always got us? How the cosmic shifts align perfectly with the Great Awakening. Each one speaks to the other. Each one lends to the other. For example, Jupiter must have been exalted in Cancer before Mars could move into Virgo. It is divinely aligned. It is a cosmic plan. And before that, Mars needed to be retrograde. It needed to move past Pleiades and go direct before it could move into Virgo. Notice that these are all strategies of the cosmos, already aligned, already beckoning us, even when we do not see it.
Oh, the Virgo in me is almost I'm excited for what's to come, but also a bit scared
Yeah.
because I've always been almost blocking myself just for how easy things went today. How easy can other things be done?
Hmm. I think it's normal to be scared. What's that saying that if you're scared and excited at the same time, go that way? If you're scared and your belly is filled with dread and you know you need to run because it's not safe, follow that. But to be
Mm,
scared and excited at the same time, it is said to go that way. And it is scary because it's unknown. They're saying redefine scary, redefine the idea of what being scared is. Sometimes being scared is simply an awareness of a discomfort that you're not sure how it's going to go, which causes you to feel not in control, which is the only reason you put the label of scary. But it's really, I'm letting go. It's really you letting go and allowing the joy of life and the ride of life and the divine to gift you blessings as you open your arms to being carried by divinity, to allowing life to love you. And yes, it's scary at first until you realize the beauty and the blessings that are awaiting your arrival, that you don't have to figure it out all on your own, that you don't have to do it on your own, that literally the divine will help carry you and bring you through the transformation and bring you joy. And sometimes we're afraid of our power. We're afraid of the blessings, not because we're afraid of those things, but we're afraid of the reactions of others. We're afraid of, well, what if it's not true? What if I'm not worthy? What if it's not deserving? What if it happens all bad, like that really pessimistic person in my life always says and always judges me for when things don't work out? What if this doesn't work out? My daughter Ava's joining us. Those are all just stories, Mom. Some things work out and some things don't. That's just how it is. But in truth, in the greater grand perspective, everything is always working out, especially when you think it's not. There is a great gift and a blessing occurring. It feels like it's not working out because you can't perceive it. But later on down the line, you will see it, you will hold it, you will become it, and you will embody it. And your great gratitude for all those scary, not working out things and fears before, you will recognize the greatness of the gift and the pearls that they gave you. She says, this is true for all of you. It's true for all of you. Allow yourself to feel the fear and feel the excitement. Allow yourself to choose which one you will give into. Allow yourself to choose the excitement, for that is what will create those beautiful, wonderful things. Do not allow fear to paint a different picture or put a veil over your excitement or the truth of what is to come. Dream big. Dream big to experience big, to win big. Dream love to experience love, to win love. Dream power to experience self empowerment, to live empowerment. Dream peace, win peace, experience peace. And she says, you don't have to win any of these things, they're already yours. But most of you just don't realize that. But it's not until you go towards it, fear and all, excitement and all, that you begin to discover the power that you have to create, to choose, to wield. This is such a glorious time. I have all this like playful giddiness, bubbliness. We're so used to, she says, all of you, you too, Mom. She's pointing at me, you too, Mom. You all are so used to having to, be in the rat race, be on the hamster wheel, make sure you got enough of this. Don't do that in case something bad happens. You are all so ingrained and so used to that you've forgotten what it's like to have the joy of living, to know that God's got you, that I've got you, that your grandmother's got you, that the entire universe has got you. And it's only when we suddenly realize that they got us that we're willing to take a leap, because it's a trust fall, because there's a trust fall there, right? We get to fall and know that we will be picked up. She's saying now all the zodiacs will be revealed in a different light. And the things that sometimes were cast as a negativity will suddenly be revealed, and how powerful that negative thing was, or that thing that, maybe was looked at badly. We've erased all the things that painted a negative picture so that they may arise and shine as they were meant to do the whole time. Listen, Anna, you should feel really good. Feels good to be a Virgo when you know that you got the energy and the structure in the house of that sign to be able to withstand any kind of chaos, because that's where your magic is, baby.
Oh.
Instead of needing to be perfect, you're able to take the imperfections and discover and delegate and categorize how to make it closer to beauty and perfection without perfection being the goal.
Hmm.
Like, girl, I'm glad I'm connected with you this year. Holy moly, thank you, Jesus. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, I'm having a moment here where I'm like, gosh, thank God for Anna, man. She's gonna help us keep it all together here. Mars and Virgo. And we're shifting at a Gemini season too into Cancer. Jupiter exalted in Cancer.
How would you describe Jupiter in Cancer?
So it's interesting because we're also coming up to a new moon in Cancer. Maybe that's when this episode will go out, on the new moon in Cancer week. But I look at Jupiter as expansion, right? Emotional fulfillment. Like, think about Cancer. Cancer is ruled by the moon. It's deeply intuitive. It's deeply sensitive. And what are all the places that we have all our wounds? In our emotions. Where do we give half of ourselves away that we're not emotionally fulfilled? Our wounds take up half the place. And Jupiter in Cancer, like, I'm not going by astrologies, I'm just going to roll intuitively. The expansiveness of Jupiter is the releasing of all the places that we do not have emotional fulfillment, seeing where we are reaching for, what we are truly yearning for as we come into the new moon in Cancer. With Jupiter in Cancer, it means an expanded version of you that is driven by emotional fulfillment, balance, peace, abundance, and your divinity, where what happens in the intuitive realms is no longer discarded and unfulfilled. Rather, it is embraced, it is embodied, knowing it has its own place in time. And the moon that illuminates what the sun does not. What a great gift that is for who does not want to see what is hidden in the unseen. All these aspects are going through an expansion where they will be honored as the sacred gifts and skills and tools that they are. I also feel like Cancer can sometimes be a bit of a recluse. I'm hearing some Cancers are like watery emotion, like it's the water too. They're feeling the flows of the emotions of the collective and people around them. That's like one aspect of Cancer. But another aspect of Cancer is very introverted, right? Processing. I also feel like some Cancers could misuse the power of their gifts if it's not aligned with that compass of morality or doesn't have strong, clear boundaries. I also feel like my son's a Cancer. I know this is hitting him, and I know the energy, like, it's not hitting him as if it's hurting him. It's actually bringing him out of his shell to see where he can finally express things, and it's okay. It's not going to be stepped on emotionally. Like, he trusts enough that he can do that. But also, like, I don't know why I'm tying my son into this, but he is so sensitive to other people's energy, and he is extremely intuitive. Like, Anna, as a Cancer, I didn't even put these two together until this moment. But when we were young, when he was younger, when he was, I want to say 4 or 5, we went for a walk in the woods one day and it was so hot on it. It was like so humid. And we got halfway there and I felt this really strong need that we had to turn around. There's no way he could hack the humidity. I don't think I could hack the humidity. We had to turn around. So we started walking back and he started walking slower and slower. And we weren't even talking. It was just like silent, taking it all in. He stopped and he said, "Hey, Mom." I said, "Yeah." He said, "God says that if I think good thoughts, good things are going to happen." And my jaw was on the ground because I'm not religious and I don't really talk about God in that way. I say source, divine, or creator. He was crystal clear on a. It was just like my jaw was on the floor. And I said, "You know what, baby? That's exactly right. You keep talking to God." And I just had this moment of like, who are you, my little man? Who are you? Children have such a close connection and can identify things and hear things and sense things that we don't always know that they do. And I feel like that's what's hidden, right? We always think we're here to teach our children. But guess what? Half the time, my children are teaching me. They have taught me some big lessons, and I'm still learning from them. But as a Cancer, I noticed that there's a shift in him right now. Like he is more willing to do the things that bring him emotional fulfillment, to say, yes, I want to do that. No, I definitely don't want to do that. So even in him, I'm sensing this shift and a change in energy, which I think is absolutely wonderful. But that Cancerian energy to me is about the intuitive realms coming out into the open to see how valid and real they are, and how those things are what go into what we see in the physical. And I really do feel like it's emotional fulfillment. Jupiter asks us to expand, to go towards what emotionally fulfills us. And Sagittarius, the full moon in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter that we just had, that was illuminating where are the places you're limiting yourself. What are your thought patterns that stop you from going towards your dreams and expanding? What are the places and pieces of things within you that are not conducive to you getting everything you freaking well want? Because you can have it all. If you keep saying I'm not a goddess, I'm not connected to spirit, I can't have what I want, Jupiter's like tap 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 on that door. It's time for you to recognize, seek the emotional fulfillment, seek the dreams. That's that full moon in Sag ruled by Jupiter with Cancer exalted in it, because it's all about emotional fulfillment. To be fulfilled emotionally, that's like filling the inner cup, baby. I don't need to rely on anybody else to take away my wounds. I don't need to rely on anybody else to love me. I don't need to rely on anybody else to know which way to go. I know that in my own emotional fulfillment and balance, I can access that within me. And that's what I feel like Cancer is asking. Given ourselves away to the status quo or to somebody else's dream for us or belief about who we should be, that's not been emotionally fulfilling. The idea, Anna, of living a life that is not emotional fulfilling is like a dry, hot, parched desert. I'm hearing that song. Damn, it feels good to be me. Being thirsty is about being thirsty is the worst, right? And that's kind of like an emotional thirst for love, an emotional thirst for wholeness, an emotional thirst to belong, an emotional thirst to be seen. That's what this new moon in Cancer is saying, is stop being thirsty and see it within you. Choose what emotionally fulfills you. That is the way you want to go. And Jupiter is the expansive energy to do that. And Mars and Virgo is the fire to step to it, baby. Look at how that all played out, right? Moon in Sag, Jupiter moved into Cancer, which is exalted. Then we've got Mars into Virgo to give the fire to do it and the plan step by step. And then we've got the new moon in Cancer. I am step by step going towards what fulfills me emotionally, mentally, intuitively, physically. Like it doesn't just have to be emotions, but emotions are our intuitive compass. When we act from an emotionally wounded place, there's always distortions because we are acting from half of our emotional fulfillment and we tend to project it out. The heart's words unexpressed, right? I feel like that's part of it too. Where have we not said what we needed to say? Our heart screaming at us, but our voice has not come to the table. And think about what happened 4 weeks ago. Mercury, the messenger, shifted too. The cosmic alignments of this year are mind blowing. There's so much that it's hard to keep up. And maybe it's just enough to know that we're going through changes and everything's getting better, even though some things appear to be more chaotic in the world around us. It has to be that way because those things don't work to begin with. We need you to see that they don't work. We need you to see to the point it's going to get before you all turn around and say, oh, I guess we don't really need to do that anymore. That's a pretty bold statement for me to make. And I'm making it from a spiritual perspective, not necessarily speaking to the everyday stuff that's going on when the world is on fire right now, or making an excuse or condoning it or explaining it away. That's not the intention of that statement that I'm making. but I am making a bold statement. Like, look at us individually. Sometimes it's only when things got so bad, I felt so constricted. That's the moment I took my power back. That's the moment I said, no, I want peace. Those are the moments. And that's just on an internal landscape. Not all of us have to get to that point. I know I did, but I don't have to do that anymore because I'm willing to change in whatever way is necessary to be all of me, to explore new parts of me. Excited and scary is an indicator we are exploring new parts of who we are as a physical embodiment with all new experiences and all new feelings that produce all new thoughts and all new memories. That's a little bit scary if we base it on our past, but it is fucking exhilarating. I say the F word with that because I want to really put some emphasis here, not because that word gives emphasis, but I feel like it's poignant for this moment. It is exhilarating to know you are about to go on the journey of the lifetime, where you are about to be fulfilled emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, energetically, where you know that everything is coming up aces. Everything is destined to come up aces, that you are a part of it and it is a part of you. The Great Awakening, it is exhilarating to know that this world and this earth plane is shifting and changing. It is exhilarating, also heartbreaking.
Mm.
Fascinating. What do you think about new moon and Cancer now that I just went on for girl, yeah, Anna, listen, you know me. Sometimes when spirit starts rolling, it just like blah, 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 all comes out of me.
It's so good to listen to. Well, I am getting hit hard because I am a Cancer moon and Cancer rising. So I am definitely feeling it. I like what you said about the Cancer. If I could have the perfect life, I would live in a cabin in the woods all by myself. But just what you said about being emotionally satisfied, I can't remember ever having been that.
Wow.
And I am on this like big journey towards it, and I can feel it more and more. Seeing, trying with compassion, seeing how I have played my wounds out on everybody else and tried to make other people meet my emotional needs when it
Mm,
was just me that could do it. I am not doing it today, but it's a learning process I'm trying to figure out. Just since the New Year's, so much has happened, so many shifts has been playing in the background. You don't really know what's going on. You can just feel that things are shifting, and then you do the conscious healing that you do, and then you try different things either for fun or through work, which sort
mhm.
of expands you as a human. And all those things together, I think that's creating magic.
I think so too. Yeah, it's interesting because we're all on that journey and trying is doing. I'm just going to remind you, trying is doing. And we've all done that. I know I've done it where my emotional wounds I've projected onto others, not because I want to hurt them, but it's because I needed something that I wasn't getting from them and I couldn't find it in me. So I feel like there's a whole wave of forgiveness that needs to happen. And there's also that higher awareness allows us to detach as well and recognize when others too are trying to get their emotional needs met by other people. And by emotional fulfillment, I just want to go one step further here in what you're saying. That emotional fulfillment, to have it within, does not take away from the fact that we all need each other and we have the capacity to heal each other. And there are people who will meet your emotional needs and fulfill them, not because you need them to do it for you, but because they are right where you are at and they are seeing you and they are a safe space and they have the capacity to meet you with what you need. In this way, it's not you getting it from them. It ends up being this beautiful reciprocity, this beautiful alignment of energy of I see you and you see me, and this is how I'm feeling. It's such a great healing energy when that happens. And side note, we can't have our emotional needs met by other people who have not explored their emotions to the depth that you have. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like oftentimes that's what we're doing. We're all at different layers and levels and different journeys and learning things. I can't tell you how many times I went to people seeking for somebody to help me with my emotional landscape that I was drowning in. And they could not even fathom the ocean that I was swimming in or the emotional capacity that was being explored. The need that you have is sometimes not met by others, not because you can't fulfill it in you and not because others can't heal with you, but because they don't have the emotional capacity to even comprehend what it is that you need. And side note, how many times, Anna, I know for me, have I been like, I need something and I don't even know what that is? How the hell are you going to help me to fulfill a need in me when I can't even pinpoint what it is? Do you know what I mean? Like, but these are all very powerful and strong themes that are being encompassed in this moon, in this energy, in this cosmic shift. Like when I think about emotional needs and emotional fulfillment, and yes, I can get it from myself, but make no mistake, there are people who have showed up for me spiritually that if they didn't, they're the reason I was able to heal some things. Like we can heal together. How do I heal a wound, let's say with a certain archetype? If I don't finally encounter somebody of that archetype who shows me a different experience that is the opposite of all the other experiences of it. That's our capacity, right? Like let's say you go to 20 doctors, just like as a side note here. Let's say you go to 20 doctors and they all dismiss you, they all tell you you're crazy, or they can't figure out what's wrong. So here, take a pill. You start to develop this wound surrounding people in positions of power in terms of healthcare. But what happens when you suddenly get a doctor who perceives all of you, who holds space for you, who's willing to explore all the different things, who knows that your spirit is important, connected to your medical, stands by your side, and gives you a result that heals you. Like I've had that exact experience. That's why I say this. This is why sometimes being with another person or experiencing somebody else from another archetype or another energy, whether it's spiritually or physically, health, wealth, whatever it is, to have an experience with somebody that sees all of you, that healed me. Not because the doctor healed me, it healed me because I got to have an experience that was the exact opposite of the time after time experience before that, which was just soul crushing. And here's just this one man being who he is, healed that aspect of me. Never again could I say that all doctors are terrible or they don't look at everything. I cannot say that because that wound has been healed through another person. So I do feel like there's validity in that. We do need each other. I feel like empowered women empower women. I feel like empowered men empower men. I feel like we all have the capacity to give a light and a love of an emotional fulfillment and container that can heal each other, not because we're healing the other person, but we're providing the container and the energy and the conversation and the space for that person to have their needs met and to find that healing in themselves, all because they had the space to do it. Wow, we're going a lot of places in this conversation, girl.
Yeah. There's so many topics I want us to discuss
Yeah.
moving forward, but I I've had a lot of misperceptions of myself regarding men
Mm-hmm.
and like all men. And then all of a sudden this one man comes into my life and he looks me in the eyes when he talks. He asks me what's my thoughts
Mm-hmm.
on different topics and he actually listens to what I say. I just I just wanted to cry when he did it because it felt so safe but also so extremely rare for someone to see me that way because for me being seen by men has just been yeah, like I was not important and here comes this individual who yeah
One person can change how you see yourself. One interaction, one person who is whole and respectful and supportive and generative has the capacity, just in a simple conversation of 5 minutes, just in a simple energy, to help us shift every way that we see ourselves. And think about why you saw yourself like that to begin with. Like all of us, we're told that we're a certain way. And if we're treated a certain way, especially throughout our whole lives, that's the expectation. Of course, you're not seen and not heard. Of course, what you're saying doesn't matter. Girl, me too. This is why we support women, because their voices matter and they're powerful. And we've been through experiences where sometimes we just need one person to support us. It's so powerful, Anna. And I feel like it's not just you and it's not just me that's healing this. And some women have healed this years ago. Some are in the midst of it right now, and some are going to heal that in the very near future. There's no right or wrong. But that too, again, I'm just going to illuminate, you and I live on in two opposite sides of the world, and yet have had, in this way, a very similar experience. One person, just perceiving them, even for one conversation, can shift entirely how we perceive ourselves. It's kind of like when you have one person that believes in you, that literally gives you the strength to believe in yourself, not because you're not worthy of being believed in or anything like that. But if you're surrounded by people that don't believe in you and one person suddenly does, that is so powerfully healing. Like, I could cry just thinking about that. I could cry just thinking about individuals that are alive on this earth plane. I don't even have to interact with them. I know that's their energy. And just knowing that they're here on the earth plane, living their life and doing their divine purpose, that healed me. I didn't even have to interact with them. That healed me on a level so deep and so profound that I can't even. And all they had to do was exist and be who they are and do what they do. And that's all any of us have to do. Now let's backtrack to the new moon in Cancer. Where have I not been emotionally fulfilled? That one man showing up and seeing you made you realize I'm worth being seen, and my words do matter and my thoughts do matter, which means I need to shift something else here, because suddenly I'm realizing a whole new world, right? Is we're on the precipice of. Anna, that's so glorious. Thank you for being so vulnerable here in these conversations with me, because some of the stuff that we're talking about, I don't know that everybody would be willing to talk about. But these are the things we go through. And this is also how the goddess in women has been diminished, as if their thoughts mean nothing, as if they're meant to be seen and not heard, as if they don't have great power and wisdom and creative energy within them. And that's not everybody's experience, but even women do that to other women. It's not about men doing it to women either. I know women who actively do that to other women. I've had women do it to me, all because they came from a state of lack, not realizing, like, we all rise together. That's the place of unity. That's the perspective. All of our differences and all of our strengths that are different from other people, when we lean into that for our own selves, we all raise up, because we all get to work together. We all get to shine in those strengths. And there's no more of this petty bullshit, step on her, step on him, because I'm feeling like I'm not enough. That stuff just goes out the window because it's not needed. And I feel like that's part of emotional new moon in Cancer and fulfillment as well, because that's a lack of emotional fulfillment and a lack of affirmation in the self. So those people would seek it from other people by stepping on them in order to feel for a moment full in themselves. That will always be an illusion, and they will always crash back down. And I feel like that's coming up right now, because as conscious, aware people will be able to see where that's playing out with other people, and we can have compassion for them. Like, I see you stepping on me. I'm not going to tolerate that. But I also have compassion and recognize you're feeling less than right now. And that's the only reason why. It has nothing to do with me. I know that you're just trying to not feel bad. Wow. And that's where forgiveness enters the picture, and unconditional love. I unconditionally love you so much that I will not tolerate a behavior that's negative towards me, because it's also negative towards you. And I love you so unconditionally that I will see past those illusions, and I will raise you up in that place that truly is the wounded piece of you that was not emotionally fulfilled. That's the power that an empowered woman has. That's the power that an empowered man has. This is all gold. This is a golden conversation on it. I feel like every time we get together, there's gold that happens.
Mm.
I'm curious to know, the viewers and the listeners, what your take is on it. But sometimes in our conversations here, in the moment, in the presence of it, I have like aha moments, like really seeing clearly and really being felt like I am seeing clearly as well. How about you?
I really like these conversations because I'm so amazed that we have so similar things. Like the backstory and things are different, but the main theme are so
Mhm.
alike. And that just makes me wonder, for all those that listen, how many of them have the same things? I hope that by us discussing this, and I feel safe sharing, I feel safe talking about things that I might not talk to anybody else about because I feel
Mhm.
safe here. And I also do believe a lot of people feel the same way.
Mhm.
I can relate to it.
Mhm.
And maybe they don't have anybody to talk to because I'm so lucky I can talk to you.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is just it. This, to have a safe container, it changes things. Like the power of truly being seen by another human being is profoundly healing. Even if you don't know them, even if you don't interact them, but to know that there's somebody else that feels the way you feel, and it doesn't have to be the same backstory. I cry like you, I love like you, I bleed like you, I yearn like you. I it's all, we're all have those nuances and emotional gauges along our emotional compass. And it's powerful. We can't be the only ones on it. And a place of safety is important. And safety by the energy of it, not by somebody saying, "Oh
Hmm.
yeah, you're safe here." If you
Hmm.
tune into the energy of it, you don't even feel it's naturally, you'll share things about yourself because you recognize unconsciously, intuitively, energetically that you are safe. Anna, I agree with you. I hope that the listeners and the viewers have found a piece of healing, a piece of acknowledgement, a piece of affirmation, and a piece of understanding in this conversation of somewhere they've been just like us. And it's also somewhere we are transcending, and they can too. Yeah, it's very powerful. New moon in Cancer. So we're going to close out this incredible conversation here. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to follow us on Spotify, or if you're watching on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe, and share this with another divine feminine that you feel might benefit from listening to this. We want to raise that divine feminine frequency. We want everybody to have that safe space and to be able to flow on. And I feel it is a privilege to be here with all of you. And we're wishing you a happy new moon in Cancer, and we'll see you on the next episode.